Welcome to the speaking portion of the Ielts. My name is Dovudkhon Abdullaev. I'll be your examiner today. May I please have your full name?
So my name is Kim Victoria. Please call me Victoria.
All right, sorry. Let's get started. Do you work or do you study?
So currently I'm a student, and to be more precise, I'm an art student, study at school which is specialized to art, named after Pavel Bynkov. And I also go to some additional classes like English. Yeah.
Why did you choose art?
I don't know, I'm just, since my early childhood, I've been passionate about art, and I just had this hobby of drawing, even on the walls, so I just really love it.
Okay, do you still draw on the wall?
No, sure not, but I did have this habit of mine as a child.
All right. Let's talk about studying in a group. Have you worked or studied in a group?
Definitely yes, because even like being a student, it always requires me to study in a group, because there are always some teamwork, like projects where being a good partner is really a necessity. So yeah.
What does it take to be a good partner, in your mind?
I think that there are two most important qualities. First of all, it's being able to listen to your partner, to understand what their aims are, what they want from the project to be. And also it's being able to express yourself normally, concisely, so your partner would understand you.
Do you prefer to study in a group or individually?
Well, it really depends. It depends on the task, on the assignment, but most of the times I prefer to work on myself. I'm kind of self-reliant.
Okay. Let's talk about the drawbacks of studying in a group. What do you think are the disadvantages of being in a group?
I think that the primary disadvantage of it would be the fact that sometimes you're not given the chance to kind of create the project the way how you want it to be. Sometimes like people are more dominant and their ideas are more appealing to others, and you might not be listened to by others. So
how can you make them listen?
Probably the best way would be, first of all, listen to yourself. Like you have to be a role model and show them an example of yourself, that you are willing to listen to others, and probably in return they would do the same thing to you.
Okay. What does one learn when studying in a group? What skills do they develop?
I think that it is really important to listen to others, and that others people's opinion matters a lot. And it's really important to be supportive whenever you work with someone, because otherwise it would be really chaotic. It wouldn't be a team, it would be just a chaos.
Thank you. What advice would you give someone who wants to study effectively in a group? Apart from listening to their partner, right?
Just stick to it. So I think that maybe, I don't know, like probably it's just the best advice that I could have given to anyone. But apart from that, it would be like not behaving in a way that you, not coming across as self-important and thinking that you're the only one here and everything depends on you. Because it's really important that to acknowledge the fact that you're not alone, and you should like bear in mind that other people also exist. So,
Okay, sure, very nice, thank you. That's about it for part one. Let's move to part two. In part two, I'd like you to describe a film, a movie you've watched recently, and here is pen and paper for you to take notes on. You have a minute to prepare, and you can start your preparation right now. All right, the time is up. Now you have 2 minutes to speak. Do not worry if I stop you. You can start now.
So generally speaking, I don't have that many movies to talk about, because I tend not to watch them. I'm not that interested in movies. But there is one of the most memorable occasion when I watched a movie. I cannot call it like recently. It was like a month ago. So I watched the movie with my family members, and the name of the movie is Time. So the name of the movie speaks for itself. It's about the time and the importance of it. It's kind of a fiction, science fiction or something. The plot is about like characters and the time of their lives. Their lifespan is written on their hands, and time is money there. Basically, the idea that you pay with your time to everything that you want to buy. And so it kind of made me appreciate the time even more, because their time was limited and they had to pay for by time only, not with money like we do, like real human beings. And it kind of, all my family members, we all liked it a lot. We have exactly the same impression of it. We all started kind of become more valuable and rather conscious that we're also not permanent here. All of us are temporary, and at the end of the day, we'll kind of leave this world. And hopefully in the future, me and we'll gather with my family way more, because it's kind of rare occasion for us. We mostly like watch something, movies, or during some holidays, and where there is a reason. But after like spending this time together and watching it as such a thoughtful movie, I realized that we should have more of this. So it was absolutely incredible. Very good experience.
Why do you not spend as much time together?
Well, it's mostly because of the fact that all of us are pretty busy. We have so hectic schedules and different responsibilities that do not match. And that is why we rarely see each other even.
Do you think that's going to change in the near future?
Hopefully, yes. This is what we work on. But right now, I cannot see any progress, honestly.
All right. It takes time.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Thank you. That's it for part 2. Let's move to part 3. Let's talk about movies. What kinds of movies are popular in Uzbekistan?
To be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea, because I don't like watch any movies in Uzbek, or I don't even have friends that are interested in Uzbek movies. But I can only assume that it's something like related to the modern world, maybe some relationship, family drama, something like this. It really varies, but I believe that it's familiar with the rest of the world.
Okay. In general, where do people watch movies?
So most of the times there are 2 options, like whether at home or at cinema. These are just so widespread, these 2 options. Like at home, the majority prefers to watch movies at home because of the convenience, because of the lack of background noise of other people, and you're at peace at your own pace. You can stop it if you want to. Or at cinemas, and mostly when people prefer to watch movies like this, they don't go alone, most of the times with someone else, which is also an excellent option.
Why?
Well, because it kind of gives the sense of togetherness. You know that you watch it with someone else, not alone, and you are the same kind of position. You watch the same thing. You're engrossed together. It's really miraculous, I think.
What makes some movies more popular than others?
I think that it really depends. The reasons vary, but most of the times it's maybe the amount of money that are spent on them. The more the money is spent on the movie, the better of quality it is, the more interesting the plot, because like there are more additional sounds, it's simply easier to make a cool movie by having a lot of money. So I think it depends on the sum that is given.
Sure. Do you think it always depends on the money, on the budget?
Not really. It also can depend on the characters, on how they perform their job. It really matters a lot.
Okay. Last question. How do people decide which movies they're going to watch?
Well, maybe by their mood. According to their mood, it's easier to decide. Like, let's, for example, take a person who is like not feeling very well and feels like no one understands them. It's reasonable to say that this person would definitely prefer to watch something that relates to his or her mood. So he will feel that, so that person would feel understood. So yeah.
That's about it. Thank you. That's the end of the speaking test.
So fast.
Wish you the best of luck. We are done. We're just done with the test, with the speaking mock test with Victoria, and I have to say I'm very impressed. I am impressed with her performance. It's a solid performance, and we'll get to the score in a bit. Of course, there are areas to work on, but largely this has been a consistent, she has shown a consistent level in her vocabulary, in her grammar, fluency in the pronunciation. So that is, again, very nice to see. As far as areas to work on, I would say prepositions, grammar-wise, we can work on that. We can work on those, on the accuracy of those. There was an instance where Victoria said specialized to or at, but that would be specialized in. But again, that's a minor slip. That isn't a game changing. That happened a few times, but still, it's worth pointing out. Sometimes CC, or rather C, coherence itself in speaking, would need work, but again, largely it has been very consistent. So the score for fluency and coherence, I would say, is a good 8. It is an 8 in my mind. Moving on to vocabulary, she has shown very nice accuracy most of the time, of high-level vocabulary. Initially, I was thinking of a 7 for vocab, but I think an 8 would be, she would be deserving of an 8 for vocab for sure. It was substantiated in part 2 and part 3. So very nice work on that. Grammar is a good, I'm honestly at odds in there. It's definitely a 7. It could be an 8 as well. To be on the safe side, we'll say that it's a 7.5, but in Ielts speaking, there is no 7.5 for grammar. So let's go with 7. And I'm sure Victoria can change that on exam day. It's a matter of focusing on some range for the grammar and speaking in a little bit longer sentences more. And that is not going to be a problem, I'm sure, right? And as I said, pronunciation is also clear, accurate. So 8 for pronunciation. I think some more intonation would help, but the confidence she exuded is nice and very, very solid performance. So the overall score, the score for the speaking performance would be a 7.5 with 3 8s and a 7. That's again what I think as of this performance, but on the exam day, I think it can surely be 8 or even above with the level and the grasp of English that Victoria has. That's about it.